Hi guys and welcome to thrustzone.com. This is Mohit Soni and as you can see I'm really excited because we're out riding finally the Yamaha MT-03 for the year 2024. It has finally come to the Indian market. It cost almost 5 lakh rupees on road and apart from that there is a whole lot to tell you what the MT-03 is all about. After asking it for a really long time, it was discontinued. We waited almost 6 years plus for this bike to come to India and it is finally here. We are also getting the R3, which will be a different story for a different day, but this is the slightly cheaper version than the R3 because of course it's a naked. It gets every single thing that the R3 gets, but it's got a naked design. And as always, let's discuss the design as well. You can see this is the very minimalistic look of the bike. At the same time, the tank is huge. The pictures and the videos that you've seen internationally till date don't do justice to the bike in how good it looks and how substantial it looks. It's got a very nice big tank. The bikini fairing is done just right. It doesn't feel like an extension. It feels like it is doing, it's a significant part of the motorcycle. At the same time, let's have a look at the headlight. You've got these LED DRLs here. Let me show you the fact that it's got an LED projector along with LED DRLs, which makes it look quite nice. You've got high beam and the pass light buttons separate over here. At the same time, this grey color is what we usually call Nardo grey is here on offer, and it always looks very sporty on motorcycles and cars. You've got these typical Yamaha green color on the wheels as well as a red stripe to make it stand out. It's got a very minimalistic tail. The tail lamps are all new. The LED indicators are here. The exhaust is pretty much the same. Even back in the day when the R3 existed, it got a very similar exhaust. It continues to have the same. And you've got this very short bike in terms of length, and the bike sits actually quite lower as well because after all it is based on the R3. And coming to the meters and the instrument cluster, simple instrument cluster. Hazard light switch is here, and let's start up the bike to show you the fact that this is a very good instrument cluster, but it doesn't have distance to empty, but it has everything else. You've got a digital tachometer. Everything is digital, and the black and white screen obviously at this price point is a bit of a downer because you expect a lot more features because it's the market trend. You need all of that, and it has everything, the gear shift indicator and everything. The temperature gauge is also here. It's just it got average fuel efficiency and current fuel efficiency as well. No distance to empty, and of course no electronics as well. No quick shifter, no traction control, no riding modes. None of that is on offer, and I think at this price point that is a bit of a downer. But I'll tell you why while riding. How does it work? In terms of quality and fit finish of course is good. Quality is also good enough. It is an international spec bike. It is a CBU. It is coming in as a full import. So given the fact that this is something that is sold throughout the world, I think Yamaha has done a pretty good job as always. It is after all a motorcycle that Yamaha makes for a large amount of markets around the world, not just a few. So MT-03 in fact is sold in many countries, almost in every country where Yamaha is. So I think in that aspect the quality seems just about okay. There is some scope of improvement in the finishing of certain parts and the kind of textures that have been chosen, but apart from that I don't think there's going to be any problem in that aspect. We've got LED lights and LED DRL and LED projectors, and like I told you, the electronics are missing. But let's begin the riding part in some time. Before that, just have a look at the ergonomics. Plain simple, your feet is going to come down flat because the seat is around the 800 mm mark. I think it's slightly lower than that as well, so everybody can get their flat feet to the ground, which is very impressive. Slight reach to the handlebars makes it go very sporty, but it's still very comfortable. No stretching of overstretching of any hands or shoulders to stress you out. It's a comfortable yet a sporty ergonomics for sure, and that is a balance which Yamaha has achieved very well. Apart from that, I think what I can really tell you before I start riding is that there is scope for improvement when it comes to features, when it comes to quality, and when it comes to switch gear. But the overall experience comes together quite well, and it is the riding part that truly takes away your breath away, I guess. And at the same time, this is something that has been similar to how it was when it left the Indian market. So before I tell you how it is like to ride, let's check the exhaust note. As you can hear, The engine has a very nice rumble to it. It continues to be as it was earlier. It is sort of an ode to the R1's crankshaft, where it makes a very similar noise, but with the four-cylinder aspect. Here it's with the two-cylinder aspect. Cross-plane crankshaft is what you call that, and I think this feels like one of them only because the way it sounds. The exhaust has very nice burbles and pops and cracks. All of that is very, very exciting. It fills in a lot of emotion. Getting on the R3 after all these years also is something personally that is bringing a lot of memories, because it's been a really long time that this bike has been away. It's finally here, and I think it's one of the very key aspects why it's one of the key aspects why we've been waiting for this for a very long time to ride. How is it like to ride? Well, let's find out. So guys, we are out riding the Yamaha MT-03 for the very first time. I thought I'll do a different video of riding it in the night. We can do the headlamp test as well right in front of you. And what is it like? Well, the engine is very refined, very smooth. It is one of the uh, most characterful engines that you will find in this category. The parallel twin, has that rumble effect in the exhaust. It's got some pops and bangs as well on the, when you start deaccelerating. So that is also very entertaining. At the same time, it has a good amount of performance as well. 0 to 100, like you see, is done under 7 seconds. So I think that is a pretty good number. But I think it could have been faster. Why do I say that? Because the lack of torque is very evident in this motorcycle, because where I stay and where I've done the test, which is riding from Mumbai to Pune and back, I realized that once you start climbing the mountains, you realize that the lack of torque is evident, and you really need to push this motorcycle. You need to really rev this motorcycle, and that is something which is a little bit taxing to do so on our run. And you can maintain a sedate pace, and that is not going to be a problem, but it is a motorcycle that has a lot of power and torque. It is going to be ridden enthusiastically, and the lack of torque is evident. Even while you're on the flats like I am right now, it does feel a little bit lacking on torque, but the moment you climb up the altitude, it is definitely you know lacks that torque what you expect from a motorcycle like this. It's got a twin cylinder. It has all the room in the world to get all that power and torque, and despite all of that, it isn't there, which is quite surprising to me. There was a lot of room. The Yamaha had all these years to do this, because this was a problem which was faced earlier as well, and I think this is something that needs to be fixed. Apart from that, let's talk about the gearbox. Right now it feels a little bit notchy because the motorcycle is new, and it doesn't feel like it's an inherent problem with this bike, as a whole. But this particular bike is brand new, so I'm sure post the service, oil change and all of that, once it crosses the 1,000 kilometer mark, it will definitely become better. It is behaving in that manner. So gearbox also is good enough. Clutch is light. Refinement, smoothness, lack of vibration is all very brilliant. The other aspect that I noticed is that the fan does come on this motorcycle. It is quite hot right now, and in Mumbai, wherever you have to reach, you have to cross at least one choke point of the traffic, where a junction is just completely crowded, bumper to bumper, for at least 5 to 7 minutes or maybe more, and the fan does turn on. You do feel the heat, but not in the way where it's going to trouble you or cause you any irritations or anything. But the fan does come on quite often, so it is trying its best to stay cool in our conditions, and that is clearly evident. It is not something that is completely refined or anything like that in the heat management area, which some motorcycles used to be back in the day. Even if our traffic conditions of course are getting worse, and they've been worse earlier as well, but there were let's say the Kawasaki Ninja was slightly better at it. This is keeping its fan on as much as possible, because I did a very specific city run where I did not go above 40-50 kilometers an hour, and I was within the city area like how I am right now, and I did see the fact that the fan came on multiple times even when I came back home and switched off the bike. I realized that the fan is staying on because the ignition was on, but the engine was killed off. So it also does that to make sure that the engine cools off as many times as possible with the fan on, with the ignition on. So that is one thing. That's the second thing of this motorcycle that seems a little bit too rudimentary to me. Uh, Apart from that, like I told you, the refinement is good, the performance is good enough, the top speed is great, and it is a very easy motorcycle to pilot. I have changed the preload settings at the back because for my weight, which is around the 100 kilo mark, the front was just all over the place. It was, this going from here to other, here to there, and it wasn't really allowing me to ride even, uh, slightly above pace, so the usual pace. So I upped the preload at the back, and now it feels up downright brilliant. It still has fantastic ride quality on offer. It still has, very good stability on offer. The seat height, of course, hasn't gone high, and all of that makes sure that the comfort aspect is quite high. The rear shock is something that Yamaha tunes really well every single time with every single motorcycle, and this is no exception. This is also absolutely brilliant. The front, surprisingly, it has much more feedback than I anticipated, and that's a great thing. Um, but what is truly letting it down are the tires. They are the Dunlop tires, which are very, they just feel very hard. They're going to last a lifetime on this motorcycle, but that last lifetime on this is going to be, not that great while riding because it's the tires that is stopping it from the fantastic chassis that it has. It's not helping you explore the capabilities of this motorcycle. The tires are just hard, they need to be replaced, and on a motorcycle which is this expensive, I think that is a bummer because you will have to spend at least 10-12,000 rupees more to get a very nice set of TVS tires. The TVS Pro Torque tires will suit it just right, and because we already know those tires are really good and they will fit on this bike quite well. These Dunlops have to be replaced. I think that's one of the reasons why even the braking doesn't feel right. There is a lot of power. There is no denying in that aspect. There is no safety concern with the brakes. There is a lot of braking power, but it's just that if the tires would have been better, it would have felt so nice. I am actually going to envy people who are going to buy this bike and change the tires, up the preload by at least one notch. I've done it by two notch. They're going to enjoy this motorcycle once that happens because this has fantastic handling, the very short, narrow handlebars, the short wheelbase, the short length of this motorcycle just lends it really good performance and handling, and the braking and the feedback, all of that will be really good. So, apart from these couple of issues, the performance is great. You saw how it does 0 to 100 and 110 very easily. It is tall gear despite that it has good drivability in the city, and that's what makes the MT-03 a very good ride, all along, because you rarely get something like this in the Indian market. And what this does is makes us really, really emotional because, the kind of horsepower and torque and the setup that is on offer from Yamaha, the chassis that is coming together is really well. Let's go, guys. So that is how it does 0 to 140 almost immediately, and that's how it goes inside corners, and that is how it exits. It is a really great machine to ride overall, but I think these couple of things, if you can fix them